Let me set the scene for you. It's Sunday, you go out with the fam to have some breakfast, you're like, oh, we'll have a little breakfast sandwich, and it's $11. What? When you can make it even fancier for this price right here. That is but cheaper. Very important things to say. This New York Times bestseller, #1. Thanks to you. Thanks to everyone who supported. Thank you. If you have your book and you haven't left a review, leave a review. And if you haven't gotten a book, it's a goddamn New York Times bestseller. You gonna tell me you're not gonna go get that? Go get it. Link's in the description. The second thing is we just hit 5 million subscribers. We're gonna do something on that very soon. And the third thing, there's multiple things. So I know that everyone's wanting a book tour. We want a little mini one. It was amazing. Tons of people showed up. We took over the San Francisco Ferry Building in the Barnes & Noble in the Grove in Los Angeles. So thank you for coming. We're doing more. It's a bit of a struggle planning it, but they're coming. Keep an eye out. Keep your eye peeled. Anyway, let's make this sandwich. Okay, so a breakfast sandwich usually consists of all the things that make breakfast in a sandwich, which could be multiple things: scrambled eggs, bacon, egg, and cheese, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Pretty much if it has eggs in it, people just assume, all right, that's a breakfast sandwich. So is a burger with an egg on it a breakfast sandwich? It basically is, right? I think this is one of those menu items that's egregiously expensive for what it should actually be. We're talking about buns, egg, cheese, maybe bacon. No, just no. And more specifically, under-seasoned eggs. The only thing that's good about it is the cheese. You're biting into it, and if there's a bite with no cheese, you're just like, God, where's the dang cheese?
That's not a good sign.
So I don't have much else to say about this other than we're gonna make the fanciest one we can for the cheapest price physically possible. So with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
Ah, look at these ciabatta buns. Artisanal, lovely. You think that's store-bought? Yeah, well, this is but cheaper, buddy. And local bakery ciabatta don't come cheap, but we can certainly make it ourselves. Yeah, I bet you were probably already expecting that. Now, first we're gonna start with our Poolish. Consider this the flavor and the rise to our bread. First, in a bowl, get yourself 220 grams of bread flour. Separately, you're gonna hydrate a scant quarter teaspoon of instant yeast into 220 grams of water. That's around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. I say quarter teaspoon because it's less than 1 gram, so. Now, cover that with plastic wrap and let that sit at room temp overnight for 14 to 18 hours. Once that's done, it should look like this. Now we're ready to make our dough. In the bowl of a stand mixer, add 375 grams of bread flour and 12 grams of fine sea salt. Mix that together. Now place it on your stand mixer. With the dough hook, add your Poolish to your flour. Dissolve a half teaspoon of instant yeast into 257 grams of water. That's around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Add that to your stand mixer and let that mix for 5 to 6 minutes or until your dough starts to pull from the sides of the bowl. Now, mind you, this will be extremely loose and sticky. That's how ciabatta dough is. Just trust in the process, all right? Now, coat a large bowl with nonstick spray, add your dough, cover with plastic wrap, and let that rise for 1 hour. During that hour, pop a baking steel or pizza stone into the middle rack of your oven, as well as a cast iron skillet on the bottom of the oven. Preheat that brother up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and yes, we want to preheat it for this long. I want it hot, hot, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. After that hour, I want you to stretch and fold your dough by picking up a piece of it with damp hands, stretching it to its max without tearing, folding it over itself, and repeating that all the way around the perimeter of the dough like this. Then cover that and let it rest for 25 minutes. Then stretch and fold again, rest 25 minutes covered, stretch and fold one last time, and then cover and rise for 45 more minutes. That's the process. At this point, it should be nice and homogeneous and a beautiful smooth dough. Now comes shaping time. Be gentle, but move quick. You ever heard that one before? Maybe in a little special place.
Be gentle, but move quick, sweetheart.
Now generously flour a work surface and carefully dump your dough onto it. Gently form into a rough rectangle without degassing. Split it right down the middle lengthwise with a bench scraper. Generously flour a board or pizza peel with flour and cornmeal. Then cut each of those segments into 3 even segments. You know, flouring as needed. And utilizing basic math, you should end up with 6 evenly sized pieces. Gently cover with an inverted container like this. Let it rest at room temp for 30 minutes. Now all you gotta do is pop 3 to 4 of these guys at a time onto a piece of parchment paper, giving at least 2 inches of space between them. Quickly load them onto your seal or stone, add 1 cup of ice cubes to your scorching hot cast iron pan, and immediately spray the back of your oven and a little of your loaves with water. Not the glass though, because glass and heat and water, probably not a good idea, so try to avoid the glass, please. Safety with Papa. Quickly close the door and bake for 15 minutes. Then remove your steamer and bake for 5 to 8 more minutes or until a beautiful golden brown ciabatta emerges. I just want to shove the whole thing in my mouth, even though that would be physically impossible without unhinging my jaw like some sort of horrifying anaconda human-like creature, but hey, they look good. Right, anyway, let those cool to room temp and repeat the process with the remaining ciabatta. Now, another thing you can make while that's all rising is this spicy mayoli? Spaioli? Sounds weird. In a small bowl, add half a cup or 120 grams of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of sriracha, 3 cloves of grated garlic, salt to taste, and the juice of half a lemon. Stir that together and you have your special breakfast sando sauce. Next, let's talk tomatoes. I want those tomatoes to be Papa's special little tomato men. So yummy. So get yourself 2 large, beautiful tomatoes and slice that into half-inch slices. Keep the god-dang slices even, please. All this prep can be done while you're waiting for your bread, so you have the time and don't even try to talk your way out of it, buddy. Heat a large pan with just enough vegetable oil to coat the bottom over medium-high, and once that's reaping hot, add your tomatoes in one layer, season your taste with salt, and sear for 1 to 2 minutes, or till you flip and it looks beautifully brown and lightly charred like this. Repeat on the other side. Oh, also season again with salt, and let sear for another minute. The goal here is color, but don't let the tomato go to complete mush. Part of that is making sure your tomatoes are not overripe, otherwise you'll get tomato puree instantaneously, and that sucks. Place the tomatoes to the side and repeat with the rest. Next is our cured meat. Normally people pick overpriced Canadian bacon or regular bacon, but instead we're using something a little more exciting, like mortadella, because it's typically cheaper and also significantly cooler. Again, heat up that skillet with just enough oil to coat the bottom over medium-high, add your mortadella, sear it for 1 minute per side just to get it hot and a little bit of color. Flip, sear for another 20 seconds, move to the side, and repeat with the rest of your mortadella skelly. Last but not least is a beautiful fried egg. It's simple, same exact concept, oil in the pan, heat over medium-high. This time you want a little bit more oil, sort of like a small pool. Now once it's hot, crack in your eggs and let them cook just until the whites are set, then either swirl the pan or flick some of the oil on top of the egg just to finish cooking the white. Place it to the side and that's your fried egg. It's not rocket science, and to be honest, you should know how to fry an egg by now. That goes for everybody, all right? It's an accountability check. Now we're ready to assemble. First, get a ciabatta bun. Toast that absolute unit to utter perfection, and you know, always toast. Now layer down, add a generous layer of Speyo on the bottom of that bun, and on the top bun, add 1 layer of cheddar cheese and 1 layer of gouda cheese. Now either broil that or hit that heavy with a blowtorch until melted, and a little bit of char. Add a nice fat slice of your brulee tomato, a generous layer of your seared mortadella, 1 to 2 fried eggs depending on your preference. To be honest, the sandwich is pretty heavy, so 1 I think would normally do just fine, but I felt like being extra here because B-roll, obviously. Now before topping this, add yourself some fresh basil leaves on top. Just scatter them around, don't overthink it. Snag that top bun and respectfully crown your king. I mean, wow, look at this. The egg is bussin', it's got the drip, and just by looking at that, I think I'm about to bust. And all for this price per sandwich, right gat dang here. Now let's see if that taste can surpass its unbelievably low cost.
Wow, look at this aftermath. Now that looks like a Saturday night. First off, the ciabatta, unbelievably soft. I'll be right back. This looks beautiful, I'm ready to eat it, let's go. That's me giving myself the credit card because I made it. I'm beyond words. Screw this being a breakfast sandwich. This is a perfect sandwich on its own, whether it's for breakfast or not. Doesn't even need to be for breakfast. I would have this for dinner. Breakfast for dinner. Brinner. I know there's a lot more effort that goes into this, but really almost all the effort goes into the bun itself. Wanna know why I can tell you that? Because we waited until the very last second to actually make all the components to put it on the sandwich, because the entire day was taken up by making the bread. You're left with a multitude of buns of ciabatta. You can store them in wherever you store ciabatta, and then assemble the sandwiches as you want. Or you could just go buy ciabatta. But guess what? It wouldn't be much cheaper.
You did that.
Ciabatta's expensive, but not when you make it. Water and flour, that's cheap. With all that being said, this is a perfect sandwich. Cheap or not, I would pay $20 for this sandwich, and yet it's for this price right here. What else do you want? This is but cheaper. We did the darn thing. Whoa, be careful with knives. Make the god dang sandwich.
You wanna know what else has juices oozing and running all over itself? B-roll.
All right, guys, and that is it. So we made our beautiful breakfast sandwich, a stunning ciabatta bread made pretty simply. It takes a little time, all right? I'll give you that. You can make any of our other bread doughs and it's gonna be similar in price. So shut up if you don't wanna make the ciabatta, all right? Sick of it. I don't wanna wait for it to sit in the fridge. Are you serious? Get over yourself. You're gonna watch Netflix for 4 hours tonight. Just take literally 5 minutes. to mix 3 ingredients together and leave it on the counter, covered in plastic wrap. Are you serious? You know what? That's it. Enjoy your day. If you enjoyed this video, or you liked it or whatever, leave a like, subscribe. Okay, shut up.